We'll see exactly how our players do take things on here in our next semi-final in this lower bracket. Who will go through to the Europe Cup? Who will join Livert in that driving seat from the lower bracket weekend? Let's find out. It's TUTUTUH versus SAPYN, a best of 5. It's time to hand over to the casters.
2 of the 3 valiant French musketeers block each other's path to the Europe Cup, but who will reign victorious? Allez! Here we have SAPYN versus TUTUTUH in the match 2 set 1. This is a guaranteed French person to be in Paris for the Europe Cup, but who will it be? SAPYN or TUTUTUH? We're going to be going into the pre-bans. They're taking a little bit of time to figure each other out right now. I'm wondering if we're going to see maybe an Ongyuki or a Wedjat pre-banned out before, or have they prepared something else?
Yeah, definitely do think it will be focusing on those units. On the other side, you can also pre-ban that Bella from TUTUTUH, which has shown a lot of strength. However, both players actually have Bella. So is Bella maybe going to be the contested pick for the first pick, which definitely has potential there as well. We do see Vanessa being pre-banned, which is definitely a pickup by TUTUTUH that he plays a lot. And of course that Wedjat.
Exactly, Wedjat being banned out. Although he had a 50% win rate last weekend. These units right now, very quick answers. Oliver, Moore, Etna, Hagang, Shan. Wow.
That is very much playing very fast. Guys, you have 30 seconds. You can actually use your 30 seconds. But that also does show, I knew what you were going to do. And then the other person answers, I knew what you're going to do and what I was going to do. And then 3 steps further down the line. Now we have a lot of speed potential from TUTUTUH being picked up. You definitely probably need that second speed lead. Still goes for the Ongyuki in there.
Exactly. We've got actually here, by the way, I just want to point out, if SAPYN locks in that Juno, Juno is a very strong pick in European prelims. She currently has won twice, but always gets banned out. So I'm wondering if this is somewhat of a force ban then for TUTUTUH, or if he can play his way around that, say.
I definitely do like that Vertihill in there as well. There's a lot of AoEs on the side of TUTUTUH, and TUTUTUH definitely has to land that glancing from the segment to deal with that Vertihill. But that's also pretty difficult because that Hagang is already on the field. TUTUTUH, what do you have as solid 5th pick that actually allows you to play this game? Because there's going to be a lot of turn cycling on the side of SAPYN with a lot of stun potential, a lot of strips. Everything is going wrong there.
Exactly. He's got a few more seconds to figure it out. We've slowed it down a little bit. Now the guys are trying to figure out exactly how they want to take this. Bringing in an Oblivion unit in a Tazarion.
Interesting unit with the Oblivion of Tazarion. It's probably difficult to get those skills off. Ending with a Douglas in there might have been very interesting because only the Jean can deal with the Douglas. All of the other 4 units can't really deal with it, which makes Douglas a force ban right there. But let's see what we have for the bans over there here. Because it could be actually a lot on both sides because the Vertihill is very strong, the Juno is very strong. Other side, so many options too.
Exactly. They're taking the full time to figure this out. We do have the Verd and we do have the Tazarian. So Oblivion is out of this game and Vertihill not going to be able to do any revenges. We've got speed leads coming in from both of them. SAPYN versus TUTUTUH in our first set of this match 2. This is to get to the Europe Cup in Paris. Let's see what happens as Sekhmet. Can she land for TUTUTUH?
Yeah, very important that she lands her skills right now. Does actually land it so, but the cooldowns on Jean are not that long. However, we probably see a Swift or a Vio Ethna. And Ethna, oh, there were not too many steps for that, but you could go for skill 2 right now. And then for a Ongyuki skill 2. Exactly. That's going to be a dead Jean, probably. But let's see if the Ongyuki gets anything. He does get... Ooh, he can be pushed back as well. But Oliver cannot push back both units. Actually has to push back 2 units. We have that Ongyuki with the skill 2. Doesn't care too much about glancing. Can you take the Jean? Does take the Jean and nearly takes that Juno as well.
Wow, there's so much health on the side of SAPYN that's just vanished from that Ongyuki right now as well. Juno going to come back through now. Can she get... The stuns don't really matter for Ongyuki right now. But seeming to target that unit to try and get it off the field, say.
Yeah, definitely the moment that the Juno leaves the battlefield, actually decides to go for the Oliver. Oliver doesn't have any skills up anytime soon because he missed a few of his skills. However, he has been despair stunning a few times already, which is definitely strong. In this case, you could aim to do that skill too, because you're probably not going to land too many Evas on the Juno while having that glancing, but it's very dangerous to do, and he still decides to circle down that Oliver. Oliver cannot take anything, and this is going to be that Vio Ethna, very well placed in here. Most of the time, Ethna is swift, doesn't fit that well on Vio, but in this case with that Ongyuki setup, first a strip, then AoE armor break, and then Ongyuki damage seals the deal, and that's the victory for TUTUTUH.
Wow, TUTUTUH coming in clutch there as well. So playing the Violent Etna worked out in the end for him. He managed to get the kill through onto like the Hagang, but also we saw very much a snipe through of the Shan straight away, say. Do you think it's a unit that TUTUTUH's not too scared of then?
Definitely the snipe of the Shan was very impactful, because if the moment the Shan goes online, he starts stunning everyone. There's so much damage coming from Shan as well. With those speed buff, everyone is moving so fast. But the moment you take him out turn 1, that is very nice as a starter for TUTUTUH. So definitely in this case, pre-bans. We have the Lima pre-ban and that Ongyoki pre-ban.
Wow, so we saw the Ongyoki did a lot of damage through to all of the team of SAPYN during that last round, deciding I don't want any of that coming up into this second set. And let's see then if TUTUTUH decides to take a speed lead of his Oliver.
Goes for the Oliver, but SAPYN does have the Wadjet open right now. Cannot pair the Wadjet with Lima, which in most cases SAPYN definitely does like to do. Does steal out the Vanessa. It's more of a steal than a pick that SAPYN is very comfortable with, so actually therefore for that reason also takes it away. In this case, like I said before, you can go for steals, but as we've seen with previous matches of stealing the NFL, for example, it's not always the right way to play. Just play something you're comfortable with, because in this case we already have that Oliver with a speed lead. He could add in a Vanessa as well, but it's very likely he also wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the Juno on the field right now, as we know, strong unit. 2 out of 2 wins, and usually banned out, in all honesty, is the way to deal with Juno in Europe. But also we've got still a Bella. So the Bella, the contested unit that both of them have, TUTUTUH has decided to pick up.
Yeah, definitely a very strong unit in there. SAPYN, are you going to show more of your LD box that you have? Goes back for that Shan and the Pra, 2 very solid picks in general.
Exactly. He took them pretty quickly as well, that he went in with the Praha and the Shan. I think now TUTUTUH is figuring out, can he try and snipe out a Shan again? Or realistically, with an Etna on the field, it's going to be very tough to get anything going off first move, right, Say?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult with that Athena on the field. You could go for a speed lead as in the Moor and then end it up with a Cigar. Also, a Wind Robo would have definitely been fitting there, but you would have to deal with that Athena. Cigar, in this case, definitely has to deal a little bit less with the Athena, and I also definitely do like that speed lead from the Jemire over there with quite some damage potential. Does remove it, actually goes back to the Vertihill, which definitely is a very well-respected pick as well.
Exactly. Vertihill actually only with a 33% win rate during the EU prelims, so sometimes not always the answer, but let's see if it's the answer for SAPYN right now, as it is 1-0 to TUTUTUH, and he needs to realistically, for his own momentum, to get some sort of a win. 2-0 down is a real headset change, so you need to make sure that you're still in the game, as we see Etna and Bella banned out of the field.
Yeah, Etna and Bella banned is definitely the higher damage potential on either side being removed. Also the cycling from both of them. So having both speed leads locked in. Let's see who is going to take first turn, and that's most likely going to be that Wadjet. No, actually, is that a Swift Moor? That is definitely looking like a Swift Moor. But is that a Swift Moor into a Swift Cigar? Didn't get enough pushbacks. I think that was actually a Swift Cigar as well, or either a very fast one. However, did not get the stuns. You kind of have to go for Daydream right now, simply to just deny the turn of the Cigar. Are you going to do it, or are you going to let it take a turn?
The moment he's decided to take it, let it turn, but realistically Cigar still has all of those skills available. Say, can he get pushed back?
If you get the pushback right now and the push up, no, the Oliver moves next, and Oliver moving next means that the Shan is going to lose all of the cooldown. Plus gonna get that stun. That stun is so crucial. Goes for Daydream in the second round, but that second round is not as strong. We have all of those buffs becoming debuffs right now. We do know that Wadjet can heal on those as well, so it's not too much of a problem for Wadjet. But the Shan being stunned is the high damage potential. We have the proc out, but we do not have the second skill yet.
Exactly. Realistically, SAPYN needs to cycle very quickly so that Shan can keep doing more work. He's got second skill.
But he was outsped, and the thing is, Shan only crits if he outspeeds, or guarantee crits if he outspeeds. The Oliver was being very fast as well, and you do need that speed buff that was actually stripped previously by the Juno. But we see so much cycling going from that Wadjet plus Vert. Wadjet Vert is pretty much saying like, I'm playing this game, you have like 1 or 2 turns, but that is the maximum I give you.
Exactly, but when you do take a turn, you need Oliver to do those things. Put the cool times back in, maybe even stun. That's maybe a reason why we've got a Despair Oliver right now. Praha just cycling even more, and it's going to be Oliver off the field soon, Say.
Yeah, Oliver can leave the field, but Cigar can say something about that as well. Can he actually push back? He does push back and provokes the Vertihill, so that definitely will take a little bit longer to get this unit off the field.
I'm not sure. We've got yet the skill 1 from the Shan managing to take it out right there. Again, the amount of turns that SAPYN is being able to take right now. TUTUTUH hasn't touched his device in a while.
No, exactly, and that is the strong thing about that Wadjet, and that's why Wadjet in G3 is the second most picked unit. not LDs, no, the second most big units of all of the units. It's just so much turn cycling. It has so much potential for all of your units to become so strong. Sean finally getting that crit off on that skill 2 while having that speed buff. It's looking very lively right now, and that is a 4 against 1, and we're going to a 1-1 with this victory of SAPYN.
Wow, it shows the importance then right there. As we can confirm now, it's going to be 1-1 between SAPYN versus TUTUTUH. Wow, the importance of Wedjat in there. I mean, that's the reason why TUTUTUH banned it out in the very first set. He can ban it out again now in set 3, which I imagine is very likely. However, he's going to have to potentially face it again later down the line. And there wasn't really too much of an answer, say.
Yeah, there's not too much of an answer. You definitely have to go for those outspeeds to clear it, because it's very hard to play a turn 2 setup of saying, Wedjat, you take a turn and I'll take it from there, because Wedjat takes a turn and then another turn and then another turn and then another turn. It's just too much. Definitely very well respected on that ban. Other side, we have the ban on that Vio Ethna. Pretty interesting as well.
Here we go. So Etna and Wedjat both being banned out. I mean, it did work into TUTUTUH's favour in that first set, because Etna proccing out managed to deal a hell of a lot of damage through onto the Heigang, if I'm not maybe I'm correct. Let's guess. Vanessa being first pick there, 33% speed lead, can obviously land a defense break on a second skill.
Yeah, that is, once again, as I mentioned before, this is definitely a steal rather than a comfortable pick for SAPYN, but it is the core pick of TUTUTUH. However, TUTUTUH is also familiar to pick up that Oliver, so you can definitely go for Oliver more or something like that right now. Goes for the Oliver plus the Bella.
Exactly, Oliver and Bella, so another unit which both of them have. Bella has decided to be stolen away from SAPYN, and we've got Shan appearing again. Did very well during that last match, and looking into a Chungpung as well. And actually, Chungpung right now is on a 50% win rate, but changing. Lima.
Changes for the Lima. Definitely, if you see the draft style of SAPYN right now, TUTUTUH should be looking at a Heigang. Heigang plus speed lead is definitely something that would be very strong for TUTUTUH at this position. I'm not too sure if he's too familiar with picking up that unit as well, but we have seen it work for any of the other SWC players that is very strong to pick up those units. Also, Juno, very strong counter into a Lima.
Exactly. I actually want to point out Lima played 3 matches last weekend, lost all 3. So it's not looking good right there for SAPYN if that continues again. We do have Juno and Sekhmet again. Sekhmet has been very prevalent in today's matches, say.
Yeah, Sekhmet is always strong. As I mentioned before, it's really one of those high value picks mainly in the draft, because you always feel like, ooh, if she lands, I have a core unit without any cooldowns. Well, that's one of the choices that SAPYN can make. Like, okay, you put my cooldowns away. I pick 2 units that don't really care about cooldowns with that Verdal and that Meo Wang in there.
Exactly. Is he going to decide to lock them in? He has locked them in, but I also want to add Mehuan only a 25% win rate. So we're choosing units which maybe didn't have a good experience, but can SAPYN prove it wrong?
I definitely want to say, hey gang, that's the only thing I can say right now. All 4 units on the side of SAPYN, or all 5 units on the side of SAPYN, 4 if you ban out the Lima, hardly struggle with glancing. So the moment you put glancing on the team of SAPYN, it's going to be very detrimental. Instead decides, I don't want to put glancing, I actually want to tee away those units, put a lot of dots on them. That's definitely going to be a ban on the Lima. Other side, we're most likely going to respect ban that Rika as well.
Wow, okay, we've got the Rika respect ban, we've got Lima coming out, and both of them with 33% speed leads. Highly likely that we'll see Sekhmet taking first turn, say?
Yeah, Segment's gonna take first turn. It's going to deny the skills of the Shan most likely, but we have that Verde Hill cycling once again. And getting rid of that Verde Hill is going to be pretty difficult, because kind of Bella has to do it, but you kind of have to do it with a Segment armor break at some point. Can't land it in this case.
Exactly, it's landed, but we're going to follow up. Didn't manage the defense break, and there's going to be damage coming into Shan right now from Bella, doing almost 2.5k hits there, and Juno finish it off.
That's a lot of damage. With this Oliver moving next, you can reset. Would you not reset the other unit and therefore you don't have the unit off the field? Not entirely sure. It was somewhat of a risk to push back a fire unit. Did land in the end. But as we talked about before, it's always the safe play to kind of get units off the field. However, this Bella is resisting a lot of things as well. Would you put a lot of resistance on your Bella?
Maybe it looks like. I mean, Shan is now off the field, and the defense breaks on the side of SAPYN is not going to do him any help right now. As Bella coming in right there, 2.6Ks on those hits and a proc, it's killed.
Yeah, definitely those armor breaks. Talked about that earlier. Sekhmet, the moment she lands those armor breaks, so many units can just follow up, and SAPYN agrees. There was too much follow up, there was too much damage. Very well drafted by TUTUTUH. Going into the next round.
Wow, okay, so Bella doing a hell of a lot of damage. Remember, SAPYN does have it in his pocket, so if it's available to be picked, he could do that to maybe steal it away from TUTUTUH. We also have seen Sekhmet, again, just doing so much for the win percentage over here, and that's why it's being respected as a pre-ban right now. Lima also being taken out. I think TUTUTUH doesn't want to have to deal with all of the buffs from Lima. Let's see who he goes for his first pick. Does he go for that Vanessa, or does he go with an Oliver speed lead?
I definitely do like that Sekhmet pre-ban over here because that enables SAPYN to go for a cleaner Wadjet draft, probably Wadjet plus Athena again, but he can very cleanly pick that up without having the potential of anything else being outspeeding him. He also does know that the Athena from TUTUTUH is not on Swift, so definitely picking up the Bella right now, not going for the Athena right away, is a very nice way over there. But we also have the Jean on the side of TUTUTUH.
Wow, there you go. So now trading over the LDs. Okay, you can have the Bella, I can have the Shannon. Let's see what works. We've got an Oliver coming out and a Praha as well.
Yeah, so both the players are signaling we're going for some high speeds, but we're going high speeds on Vio. The only actual Swift unit on the field here right now is probably that Wadjet. TUTUTUH has to go for a speed unit and probably a speed lead, or decides to pick up that Hey Gang.
Exactly. Hey Gang, very beneficial here in Europe so far. Any of the units with immunity on at the start, and if it gets stripped... Oh, picking a Gianna as well with it.
Yeah, definitely do like the Gianna in this case. However, it could be that it has to be Swift as well, I would say. So you kind of need a Swift Gianna right here. A lot of people these days tend to have Gianna on Vio, but let's see what TUTUTUH has, and also let's see what SAPYN brings into the draft as a 5th pick unit.
Exactly. We do know that SAPYN already has two speed leads on as an option to pick through, but TUTUTUH only with the one, if I'm not miscorrect, with Vanessa. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a potential ban on those units. We've got Juno on the field, signaling that whatever you're going to do to me, I'm going to absorb it. And guys, let's see what happens with this pre-ban, or this ban, say.
Yeah, I would say that the Juno does signal that you're banning out that Hey Gang and you're leaving out the other units on the field. However, the big question is going to be... Oh, actually does not remove that, and the damage is removed from the side of SAPYN, which is a pretty interesting take as well, because I think the Oracles with enough cycling do enough damage. We have the speed leads being picked up from both sides. Big question is going to be, Gianna, do you outspeed that Wadjet?
No, she does not say, which means Wedjat is going to be taking a turn. Etna, we can see there would have been going again second, but obviously with the pusher from Wedjat.
It's not going to be the case, but the big question right now is, with the skill 2, would you have boosted your Oliver enough? Or is Gianna going to take the turn? Gianna is going to take the turn. And actually, the turn order is completely messed up because there was no strip on that Athena. No strip on the Athena. Athena was actually moving next and would have fought more immunity. Because Athena wasn't stripped, actually has the potential to place all of those defense breaks, which lands all 4 of them after the strip. So Oliver is also taking the defense break and is taking a lot of damage from this Athena skill 3 right now. 4Ks per hit, that is doing so much damage. We have crazy healing going in from the Wadjet, but still there's so much damage going along.
There is. Hey Gang is going to be following up. Remember, all of those debuffs, if Wedjat can take a turn, can help. Oliver's hanging on by the skin of his teeth, but he's going to be going down. Wow. Here we are, going into Etna. I think it's bye-bye SAPYN.
Yeah, I think this seals the deal that Gianna was very well placed. In this case, a Vio one, I still think a Swift one would have done better. But in this case, it did very well because that Hey Gang was on the field. And we've seen it time and time again, that Hey Gang is so crucial to play against certain players, but also in certain playstyles. And that definitely gave the victory to TUTUTUH.
TUTUTUH.
TUTUTUH.